Moon gang. Hello. What is going on? You know what? You pivot early in the stream. We're doing an early morning pivot. We're putting on the duck shirt right away. I don't care. Early morning duck shirt or early morning glasses. It doesn't matter, folks. Pivot. Is this how I plan on starting the stream today? No. Just seconds ago, I thought I was going to say something different. And then I don't know. I'm knocking everything over, all jacked up. I'm all jacked up in Mountain Dew. What a great movie. Shout out Talladega Nights. Oh Lord. It's going to be a day. Folks, it is going to be a day and a half. I don't know for those of you who like truly believe in the Gregorian calendar and all that stuff, but we are about to have ourselves a day and a half, 1.5 days, all shoved into a day. It's going to be something. It's going to be something. This is something the minds never predicted happening, but we're about to have ourselves quite the day and a half ourselves, man. So I don't even know where I want to start this today. So many things to go over. All right, obviously, we have to talk about AMC, the AMC earnings announcement. We're looking good. I've been telling you about 36, past 36. I'm watching 40 to 42. We'll go over the Ortex numbers, all of that. Boy, do I have a doozy of a story for you folks involving Apple. If you've been here for, I guess at this point, a month, you know my previous Apple story. Well, boy, oh boy, I think I topped my previous Apple story. So at some point today, we have to go over my Apple story because I went in like a hot tamale to the Apple store last night, and some interesting things came on. People are saying Adam Aaron on CNBC. So I tried to find that live CNBC. I tried to find him on Squawk Box. Let me track this down to see if I can find it. And I know Adam Aaron is also going to be on with Charles Payne. So definitely interested in that. Coming up first. Oh, I have it. Whoa, this worked. That's crazy. Hang on.
No, because we want new investors. But I think that Jim Chanos in the previous show raised some very good points about how expensive the stock is. Obviously, eye of the beholder.
Yeah, well, we'll be talking a great deal about all those different things. Before we do that, Jim, sort of what has caught your eye more broadly speaking in terms of where we stand right now in the markets, in the bond market? I don't know, take it wherever you want in terms of what you think are the keys.
I mean, I know, David, it's more in your bailiwick, but once again, you think that something's worth X, and a very smart company, Canadian Pacific, comes along and says it's not, it's worth more.
Well, it's worth more to them, but it's still worth more to CN.
Yes, but I'm saying that...
Right, now they're talking about... Okay, so it sounds like he's about to come on.
Like you are, and I'm saying... Right. I keep seeing...
All right, so I know I just turned that Mutio off. As soon as Adam Aaron comes on, we'll listen to it for a little pre-market action for Squawk Box. Let me just make sure that I have this going. All right, sweet. So, all right, overall, I guess before Adam Aaron gets there, let me set the stage for you. Let me set the stage of what's going on with the earnings. If you didn't catch the earnings, there's a couple important things to know. And as Adam Aaron said, if I had to sum up the earnings announcement, the earnings call, how the company did in the most previous fiscal quarter, I would reiterate Adam Aaron's two very bold yet wise words of crushed it. They absolutely crushed it. Last quarter, at the end of, March, they had record liquidity, as in cash on hand, revolving credit, around $1 billion. Since then, this quarter that ended at the end of June, they've beat their own record again. This is a 100-year standing record. They've doubled up to $2 billion in liquidity. Their revenue was $445 million when expectations were $382 billion, so they beat revenue expectations. They did have a loss of $334 million. But that is still a beat in terms of earnings per share. They were expecting a loss of 91 cents per earnings per share, but instead they only had a loss of 71 cents. So they beat that. Their ticket revenue trending up quarter over quarter. Their capacity trending up quarter over quarter, US and in also Europe. Their debt, yes, they do have about $5 billion worth of debt. A little bit of it is due in 2023. Most of it is due in 2026. So we have over 4 years, which gives them plenty of time to get their balance sheet, figure out better deals, blah, blah, blah. Relative to the previous quarter, the attendance has 3x. And even though it's still down from 2019, it's trending beautifully. Ticket sales are up. Food and beverage is up by a lot, up 42%. It's absolutely killing it. Last quarter, their cash burn was 120 billion per month. Now we're at 85, or sorry, not billion, million, 120 million. Now it's at 85 million. So that's a 30% increase in their cash burn. Looking good there. They close out some of their weak theater chains. We know about those two, the Grove and the Americana in LA. They're actually in talks for 6 and potentially 4 more. So it looks like 10 there. They're still looking at 12 new builds in 2022. Obviously, they're looking to continue with the sports. It was a huge success with UFC. They also have these concerts with Chance the Rapper and Halsey. One of the big announcements is that by the end of this year, they're looking to accept not only Apple and Google Pay, but also Bitcoin. Beyond that, they did do a small increase in tickets to help with the bottom line. They are on very, very good terms with Universal. And in fact, on top of that, they even struck a deal with Warner Bros. In 2022. All movies will have a 45-day window of a theatrical release. So this argument of them fighting with streaming, it's a 45-day theatrical release before it goes on streaming with Warner Bros. Then they talked about some other stuff. That's the main takeaways. I just wanted to give you the highlights of the numbers, just so when people are talking to you about it, they're improving. They are improving. The numbers beat. He's not on mine quite yet. Moments away. All right, let's see what this is.
Only on CBC. Adam, it's always great to have you back. How you been?
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, David. I'm great. As you know, we just reported a fabulous quarter, way ahead of market expectations. We would really like to think, after this very long 16 months of COVID, that we can see recovery in sight ahead.
Well, let's go over that. Right now, in the conference call, you talk about the idea that you've laddered the debt, which is very good, meaning that there's no big payment to do right now. Obviously, you've lowered the cash burn. It's much better. But then, in the call, you say, look, I'd like to raise capital. Others do, too. But you've obviously taken both informal polls because you're on Twitter and spoken to a lot of shareholders, and you're saying, you know what? Let's not do that. But the previous guest, James Chanos, comes on and says, Cinemark is so much cheaper. And then also, IMAX is so much cheaper. Why don't you just say, you know what? Let's do convertible bonds. Let's do something that raises capital, given the fact that the stock's still very high.
Well, let's start and remind everyone how much capital we've raised in the last year and a half. Since April of 2020, AMC has brought in between $5 and $6 billion of capital, either from raising equity, raising debt, or getting concessions from lenders and other entities close to the companies like our landlords. And we ended the first quarter of 2021 with $1 billion of liquidity. That's cash and undrawn revolver. That compares to a company that was running out of cash during the height of the pandemic last winter. That's where we were in March of 2021. That $1 billion quarter-ending liquidity figure was the single highest quarter-ending liquidity figure that AMC's ever had in its more than 100-year history. Well, that record we set March 31. On June 30, thanks to having raised another $1.25 billion of equity in May and June, we ended with another record liquidity position at the end of the second quarter, June 30, of $2 billion. That actually was $2.23 billion or $2.24 billion, but it was more than $2 billion. We beat the 100-year record for AMC by a full $1 billion. It was double where we were in March. So yes, sure, I'd like always to amass the largest war chest I can get so that we can do things with it. But we do have the largest war chest that AMC has ever had. As for your question specifically about convertible bonds, we sold over 400 million shares between between September of 2020 and June of 2021. We actually don't have any shares left. So a convert is not an option until such time as the shareholders authorize more shares.
But you did say you need to play offense. And then you went over multiple ideas in the conference call that need more capital that you said would be very successful. So I was confused because obviously playing offense could mean raising more capital. Or are you going to use a stock that many feel is inflated to start buying more than you already have, and you've made some great acquisitions?
Well, look, we have $2 billion of liquidity. That gives us plenty of capital to go on offense with. And for example, we said yesterday that we're adding somewhere between 5 and 10 very important theaters in the United States. We already announced specifically 2 in Los Angeles, which were the 2nd and 5th highest grossing theaters in Los Angeles a few years back. These came to us from ArcLight Pacific Theaters, who did not resume operations as a result of COVID. We said we think we'll wind up with between 5 and 10 theaters just a few weeks from now. That's an example of playing offense. Another example of playing offense, we're going to get quite involved in the world of cryptocurrency. We announced yesterday that we're going to be accepting Bitcoin as payment online for online purchases for AMC admissions and concessions. There's much more that we can do with cryptocurrency because we got a big population, an avid population of customers, of transactions, of consumers. That's an example of playing offense. There are a whole lot more ideas. We said we were going to go look at alternative programming. We just had our first 2 UFC fights that we showed at AMC theaters. Attendance was very strong. This month in August, we're showing our first 2 concert movies in ages with the artist Chance the Rapper and Halsey. So there are things that we can do. $2 billion is a nice cash hoard, the biggest we've ever had to play with. And as I said, we're the largest theater operator in the world. We're playing an offense. It is true that COVID put us on our heels for a year, but that's behind us now.
Okay, now you mentioned obviously the apes, which is this cohort of investors that is very excited about AMC stock. And you also mentioned something they want very much, the partnering with GameStop on a number of possible fronts. Now, how are those talks going? Have you sat down or Zoomed with Ryan Cohen, who is the seer of GameStop, to get something going?
Well, I think the irony here is I actually didn't say anything about the apes. You said something about the apes. I look at these millions of individual investors as who really came on the scene just in the last 6 months. They're the owners of my company. They don't work for me. I work for them. They're my bosses. And just like all professional management teams respond to the shareholders of their companies, we're certainly interested in the suggestions that are flowing to us from the owners of our company. One of the many suggestions.
So you talked to Ryan Cohen then? You've talked to Ryan Cohen?
No,
why
what
not?
I said yes.
Isn't he a neighbor of yours?
What I said yesterday on our earnings call, when for the first time ever we took questions, most of the questions on our earnings call came from our individual shareholder owners rather than professional securities analysts, was that we've gotten a lot of good ideas flowing into the company from our company's owners. One of them was that we should partner with GameStop. I was asked if I was willing to do that. I said sounded like an interesting idea to me, and that I would reach out to GameStop. However, I also said yesterday that there have been no communications between GameStop and AMC as of yesterday afternoon.
Adam, it's David. Yeah, I brought that up as a kind of jokingly a couple of months ago right here. Funny how it's become something that perhaps could actually become a reality. I want to talk, though, more about reality itself. Adam, you've done a lot of things to navigate this company, to navigate it to calmer waters, and you need to be applauded for that. But, you know, today you're with this move up, the stock's going to be worth about $19 billion. You don't believe it's in your interest to tell your shareholders that, you know, you're still an exhibitor of product, right? Of movies typically, perhaps of other sporting events. Is there any path you could justify for having that kind of value, given the financials on a fundamental basis, as we at least try to weigh them, that you're going to be able to produce even under the best of scenarios?
Here we go.
So guess what? I think all of us have been watching the financial markets for a very long time. And we can't always explain how the financial markets act. A market is a market. There are willing buyers, there are willing sellers. We made a very clear disclosure a few months ago that our stock was trading away from historic fundamentals. And we made no bones about that. But, you know, you at CNBC, when I have great respect for all of you there, you focus on our share price every day. What I focus on is running the company. And what I focus on is the recovery of the company. Ours was the company that was the strongest player in our industry on the planet in February of 2020. The COVID pandemic shut all of our theaters in 1,000 of them in 15 countries in the span of a week. Our revenues went from $450 million a month to $450,000 in a month. Our earnings went from reliably positive to non-existent. And as you say, we had to pull a lot of rabbits out of the hat.
And you did it, Adam. You did it. And you've detailed a lot of that in the last 10 minutes in terms of what you were able to do, and it's worthy of praise. But I still wonder. I mean, I'm looking at Loop Capital Markets. You know, they have a $1 price target. Credit Suisse, $1.55. You know, even despite a $2.1 billion equity raise over the last year, we remain concerned about your leverage, the shrinking of the exclusive theatrical window, the number of screens relative to the long-term attendance trends. You know, nobody's worried you're going out of business, of course, and you've delayed all your debt repayments and things of that nature. But again, Adam, to understand the long-term fundamental strength of this franchise, it's being treated as though it's the greatest growth company of all time, and it's not.
Well, look, the same people who are putting us down now were writing with equal certainty 10 months ago that we were going out of business then. They've been wrong. And who knows what will happen. There's only one thing I'm certain of. Tomorrow, our share price will go up, it will stay the same, or it will go down. And as you just said, our focus is on building this company, taking it forward, improving its performance. That's exactly what we've done. Some people think heroically over the past year, and the same team that has paid attention to driving this company through, improving its fortunes going forward, is the same team that's going to take it forward from now. How the share price reacts to all that, we're all going to find out. We're all going to find out together.
I guess, but you know, if I was in your position and I hit the lottery ticket of having the Reddit crowd kind of congregate around me and believe in my future and bid my stock up, man, I'd be selling a lot of stock, Adam. I mean, you've become an incredibly wealthy man over the last year. How do you view that and your ability to potentially monetize some of that wealth?
You talking about me personally?
Yeah.
Or your kids. Or your children. Your two children.
Because the company did monetize very much so.
They did. But what about you? What about you?
Hey, look, I've run this company for 5.5 years. I haven't sold a single share yet. I believed in its past. I believe in its present. I believe in its future. I did say on the earnings call yesterday that I hit my 67th birthday in September. At some point in time this winter, I suspect I need to diversify my assets a little bit, and I intend to file a 10b5-1 plan. But my focus isn't on my personal net worth. My focus is on restoring AMC to health and prosperity. This is a 101-year-old company. I want its next century.
You know what?
To be
Real quickly on
that
basic idea, though, just let's get back to the fundamentals themselves. The theatrical window. I know you signed this new deal with Warner. Seems to be fairly important, but There are those who believe things have changed forever as a result of the pandemic, as a result of the growth of direct-to-consumer, and that movie theaters are going to become a less and less important way for the producers of that product to actually showcase what they have, and therefore you're not going to benefit as much as in the past.
Well, you're right. We signed a very important agreement with Warner Brothers. They experimented starting in December with going to the home simultaneously with theatrical release. And it was a 6-month experiment. And they've already abandoned that experiment because when I talk to studio executives across Hollywood, they tell me that the proven way to build billion-dollar movie franchises is to take it to theaters first.
But Adam, I paid $30 for Black Widow very willingly. It was dynamite. I watched it at home. I didn't have to pay the cost of that popcorn that you cost a fortune for. I didn't have to buy the Diet Coke because it was right there in my kitchen. And you know what? It was like one unbelievable opportunity. I had a big screen. Adam, I wish you had been with me. We would have had a dynamite time.
Guess what, Jim? If we'd gone to an AMC theater, we would have even had more of a dynamite time. And I'm going to tell you why. One of the major studios who took a film to the home early did a survey. And they found that people who watched that movie in the theater liked that movie twice as much as the people who watched that same movie at home. There are no concerns about piracy when movies are coming to our theaters, as there are concerns when movies are taken to the home. And as for this notion of people staying in the house, gee, I think if COVID's taught us anything at all, it's people want to get out of the house. Everybody has a kitchen, but people go to restaurants to eat. Not all the time, but they do. AMC and movie theaters, we've been competing against television sets for 75 years. People watch a lot of TV at home, but they also go to movie theaters. And I think that's because it's an event. They want to go out. They want to get out of the house. They want to be with other people. At a horror movie, they want to scream at the same time. At a comedy, they want to laugh at the same time. At a rom-com, a romantic comedy, they want to cry at the same time. There's a magic about going to a theater.
But you know what? I don't want to get COVID at the same time as these people. With this Delta, I know you guys have done unbelievable, but I do not. I would prefer to sit at home, okay, with less risk of Delta than go out and have a risk of Delta. And have unvaccinated people, why not do what Frank Del Rio does at Norwegian, now allowed by a federal court, and ask us if we've been vaccinated so I can feel safer going to the movies?
Well, let's start a couple of places there because there's several important things in what you said. Number one, no one is a bigger proponent of vaccination than AMC. I said on this network 6 months ago, the most important man in the movie business was Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer. Because while I am quite optimistic about the future of AMC, the future of theatrical exhibition, despite all the concerns that you properly raised, we would be nowhere without vaccination. But the big difference between our country dealing with the Delta variant and our country dealing with the COVID virus last winter is that 57% of the U.S. population has been vaccinated already. And I'm hopeful that the Delta variant will remind the unvaccinated how important it is that they get vaccinated. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we spent a tremendous amount of effort working with Clorox and faculty from Harvard University's prestigious School of Public Health on our safe and clean protocols to make sure that we operate our theaters safely and cleanly. We were so far ahead of the rest, not just of the movie theater industry, but all of industry on air purification and upping the filtration in our HVAC systems, because we knew way back in May and June of last year that this virus was much more a respiratory spread. But last but not least, I happen to be on the board of Norwegian Cruise Line, which is an irony of given your question, Jim. And my hat's off to Frank Del Rio and the NCL. And
that's why I know, because you ran Norwegian.
Pardon me?
You ran Norwegian. That's why I thought you'd go for that one.
I was the CEO of Norwegian in 1993.
I know. Well, that's why I thought it was a good question. I got
It
one
is a
more
good
for
question.
you. Would you give me would you give me this? You're a showman. Hey, I've never afraid of being called a showman. Isn't Bitcoin a bit of a showman? Is that like a great way? I mean, if I came to the movie theater, I know I have to do it ahead of time, and I used Ethereum. I mean, why? I mean, I got it. You want it?
Well, we keep on hearing suggestions from our shareholders that we should start accepting cryptocurrency. And we found out that it was very easy for us to take cryptocurrency and
This
take
is
no
ridiculous.
balance sheet risk in the
This
process.
is so.
Because we'll be involving third-party processors in the effort who will take the currency risk. So if people want to pay us in Bitcoin, they can pay us in Bitcoin. Having said that, as we learned more and more about cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency is quite an intriguing option for companies who have millions of consumers and hundreds of millions of transactions, and that's AMC. So there's something quite real here. And I also think that getting more active in cryptocurrency may be one of the ways to earn our market valuation that David was talking about earlier. If I can just say one thing, and I know we're going to wrap up.
Adam, we got to go
I
in 10
understand
seconds,
why-
so make it quick.
I understand why you raised all the concerns about theatrical exhibition. I just want to remind you, movie theaters have been central to the cultural fabric of American life for 100 years, and we're going to remain central to the cultural fabric of American life for the next 100 years.
All right. Well, let me do this. Congratulations. You've done a great job. And you know how I feel. Privately and publicly, I will say that. Because your company would not have survived without your incredibly smart work and cooperation of the shareholders who understand exactly what you're trying to do, win for them. And I am congratulating you. Great job.
Thank you so much.
All right. David.
Thank you, Jim. Coming up, Canadian Pacific says its new takeover offer for Kansas City Southern is superior to a rival.
Adam Aaron did very, very well. It was borderline moronic, the questions and the tone that they came at him with. Like, what? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I mean, what we just saw there is like a multi-million-dollar show production, and they just like weren't getting it. It's still like, no matter over the past 6 months, have they not yet heard that this is not just a fundamental play? Like, it's actually beyond a fundamental play. Like, that's not necessarily why we're in it. Have they not realized that this is beyond exclusively Reddit? He's like, oh, you have all these Redditors in there. And just like the way they were like talking to him, like, I don't know. Like, I guess I get it. I'm here. I go on and like I do my antics and I have my shtick and my bit and everything, but like, have like a little bit of like respect for a guy who like literally saved what now a $19 billion company that was looking at the face of like going extinct in 2020, going from extinct to a valuation of $19 billion in a year and a half. Like the questions and tone at which they approached him, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into it, but it was, in my opinion, it was like borderline disrespectful. Like, seriously, a lot of disrespect. But that's what we're dealing with. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I'm saying this as if it's like a groundbreaking statement. That's how we've gotten to this situation. Very legitimately, that's how we've gotten to this situation. It's because it's not as only the leadership team at AMC, but the people who are supporting AMC time and time again, like just underestimated, viewed to have a novice, rudimentary understanding of the stock market. And that's how we've gotten to this situation. So am I surprised? I guess. Am I frustrated? Yes. Am I surprised? No. And I guess would I want it to be changed? Well, maybe not necessarily, because it's that type of outlook on our community that has got us here, and for a lot of us has made us a lot of money. So I don't even know if I necessarily want it to go to the wayside, but it's so... I mean, the whiplash, like, I don't know about you, but I feel gaslit. The conversation legitimately went from him saying he is talking to the CEO of a movie theater, folks, and he said he should have watched Black Widow in his house with him. He's like, come over, we would have had a good time, $30, I would have paid for it, we could have had Diet Coke together. What? I've made bad jokes. I've never made a joke that stupid when talking to the CEO of a movie theater. Blows my mind. Anyway, folks, casino is open. Casino is open. But overall, I mean, Adam Aaron hit him back, and he hit him back hard. I was happy with what he said. A lot of it was he just reiterated the high-level points from what we heard in the earnings call yesterday. So I don't know if there's like anything groundbreaking, but it was cool to kind of see other people's opinions, and then the way that he hit back, I thought that was a bit entertaining. All right. IWM, AMC. All right, what other questions do we have? Someone said that they have no shares left. Yeah, that's why they can't do convertible bonds. Remember, for a while, the convertible bond theory was like hot in this community, and then people were like, hang on, you can't do that. To have convertible bonds, you have to have, I guess, shares that are authorized to go to the market. Right now, there are no more authorized shares that could dilute the outstanding share count. That's kind of what the big vote was, that they took that proposal away. But yeah, they were saying, because you can raise money through convertible bonds. I believe that's what Silver Lake did, who's a big investor from quite a few years ago in AMC. They had convertible bonds, and ever since this year, there's been absolutely no convertible bonds because there's no extra shares that are authorized that could dilute the outstanding share count. All right. Out of the gate, AMC holding above 36. I guess while this is opening, I just want to quickly show you the Ortex numbers. Let's go over this. So AMC, they've borrowed a $250,000 against it. $250,000, short interest of 15.88%, utilization 93.55, shares on loan 103 million. In terms of GME, net neutral, short interest of 12.5%, utilization 46, shares on loan 7.3. I want to show you AMC's daily chart really quick. This is the level I was watching. The low from whatever this date is, the low from July 28th. That's why I was calling out 36 yesterday. We exceeded that. Today, I want to see the test of the high 39s all the way up to 42. That would be great, because we were rejected there pretty much every day from July 22nd all the way up to August 2nd. So we have a lot of resistance in this area. I would love to see us just completely smash through it above 42. I would then be watching 46. In terms of GME, we're at its own level of resistance at 164. Past that, I'm watching 175. Not only is it a previous support, but it's also a key psychological level, 175. People like to move in those nice increments. So overall, those are the levels I'm watching today. AMC's gapping up 7.25%. GME's gapping up 1.7%. IWM spinning around. SPY spinning around. What else do we have going on over here? Tesla's at 710, Virgin Galactic 3440, Palantir another green day, Penn National Gaming is up, Nvidia is up, Microsoft is up. What else do we have? Green. Crypto's still green. For those of you who've been paying attention to crypto, Bitcoin's at 46,000, Doge is at 26 cents, Ethereum is at 3,200. Bitcoin's now more interesting for us to watch because we know AMC said by the end of this year, they will be accepting it for concession sales and ticket sales. Cardano is also running like a madman. So crypto's looking strong. AMC is coming back, reaffirming this breakout level. Remember, we do have that technical phenomena of a gap fill play. That is a possibility. The previous close was 33.80. Stocks do like to fill the previous gaps. We did have a gap up. Obviously, I don't want to see that today. I'd rather see it bounce right off of 36 because we know that's a key level. I want to see it find a bit of a buyers here and then kind of bounce off of this. This early morning selling, very good chance it's day traders and swing traders who made a position right before, I guess, market close or just even yesterday, and they're playing the gap up and they're taking their, I guess, $2 of profit, $3 of profit. Good chance what we're seeing right now is just a bunch of profit takers off of the gap up. Kind of expected, kind of normal, especially with a stock that's as, I guess, well discussed, well spoken about as AMC. There's obviously a lot of eyes on it. So I'm sure this is just day traders that got in and out, quick swing trade. I wouldn't say that this is by any means the ape community selling. By any means, the ape community selling. AMC 3580, want to see it recapture the 36 level. GME 162.36. IWM, the Russell 2000 flat, S&P 500 442, also pretty much flat since open. But remember, we're 5 minutes into the day, folks. We are just exclusively 5 minutes in. I like to wait those first 15, 20, 30 minutes and just see how things are really shaking out. It's just, there's so much whiplash and whips, like it's just whipping up and down right as it comes out, especially after a fundamental development such as an earnings call. Calm, cool, collected. I like to sit those first 15, 20, 30 minutes and see how things are truly shaking out instead of making a rash decision a little bit too early into the market day. I think, like I said, I think it's profit takers right here. And then if we get back on the north side of 36, just kind of reaffirming that price level, I'd like it. I'd like it. I'd like it. I'd like it. But calm, cool, collected. I'm not making any rash decisions. Thoughts on DDD. Cat Moores, I'll check that out in a little bit. I'll write that down. What does sell mean? I mean, good question. Good question. All right. DDD. That is on my list. Let's wait till the market opening plays out a bit more. All right. AMC already recapturing that 36 level. This is the exact level I was calling out yesterday. Obviously this morning, I'm watching 36. I want to hold above 36. I want a decent amount of volume traded above 36, as in the market has been accepting that price, that valuation. And then from there, I want to see that test of the incredibly important region of the high 39s all the way up to 42. From a technical perspective, if you see AMC closing above 42, there is so much reason to be stupidly happy. So much reason to be so incredibly happy a close above 42. I'm not necessarily saying that for today, but I'm just pointing out, hey, we're obviously trending up to that level after the double bottom in like the low 30 area. So this might be the exciting announcement of they beat the top line, they beat the bottom line, they had some cool announcements. They are looking at maybe 10 new theaters in the US buying out from ArcLight Pacific. They're looking at 12 new theater builds in the year 2022. They have the new deals, very good working relationship now with Universal. In fact, in Adam Aron's own words, it's the best working relationship they've had thus far. Warner Bros., they agreed in 2022 that all the movie releases will have a 45-day theatrical release window before it goes to streaming. Lots of good, and like just beyond the numbers. Like, of course, we could go over the numbers of what they beat on revenue, earnings per share, but the bottom line is what exactly Adam said. They crushed it. It is literally that simple. They crushed it. They crushed it. They crushed it. And for me, this is how I interpret it. So I know I'm one of many people who for a long time has said this is not a fundamental play. And right now it's like, okay, well, if you're talking about an earnings announcement, it seems like you're talking a lot about fundamentals. How's this all of a sudden become a fundamental play? No. That's not the best way to look at this. This is how I would recommend looking at it. We're in this. There's a good chance if you're listening to me right now, you're a member of the Ape Nation and you're in it for the potential of a short squeeze. Am I guaranteeing a short squeeze? Absolutely not. But we're finding a value and a premium in the potential outcome of a short squeeze and us making a lot of money. The people who are shorting it, betting against it, are doing that because of a fundamental breakdown of the company. So for this, and I was alluding to this yesterday, it's good to know what's going on with the fundamentals because then you're better in the mind of people who we're playing against. The people who are shorting AMC are not shorting it because they don't think that there's a chance of a short squeeze. They're shorting it because AMC to them has a weak fundamental foundation. So whenever you hear, I guess, earnings calls like this and outcomes such as this, it's weakening the thesis of our opponent. I am not in AMC currently for a fundamental play. I'm in it because of the chance of a short squeeze. But the people who are betting against us, the people who are shorting the stock, hence looking for the short squeeze. It's completely fundamental. And then after webcasts and earnings calls such as last night, their thesis, their theory is becoming weakened. Loop Capital and someone else, we know there's 3 people who were named today that all have a price target on AMC of less than $2. We know Rich Greenfield said a cent, Loop Capital said $1, and then someone else said $1.50. All of these people, when you hear fundamental updates such as that, it's weakening their theory, and that's important for us because that's our competitor in the game we're currently engaging in. So I just want to make it clear that I'm not saying, oh, now this is fundamental and this is where we want to go. No, I'm showing a light of, hey, the people betting against us who do have a fundamental outlook on it, their theory, their thesis, their hypothesis is getting weaker and weaker and weaker every single quarter that passes. All right, let me answer some of these questions really quick. We're flying. Shout out, shout out. All right. We recaptured 36 just for my listeners. AMC is at 36.33. GME is at 164. I want to see it. GME up to 175, and I want to see AMC up to the high 39s. Feeling groggy, but very, very froggy. I love it when you're chipper. Shout out. Duck shirt, Coach Kohrs, Rocket Magnets, tinfoil hat, Kenny G's boy toy, aka Kramer. Hey Matt, recently got CHIA crypto XCH backed by Bram Cohen, BitTorrent protocol inventor. Look at cup and handle 5-day. All right, let me throw that on the list too. XCA crypto. Why is Adam talking? Well, because CNBC has a huge base. There's a little bit of a weird thing, I think, going on in the world of right here, Ape Nation, of you should only talk to people that agree with you. That's not how you change people's minds. If you're only preaching to the people that are already on your side, how do you get more investors in your company? Your question of why is Adam Aaron talking to CNBC? Because then you get more people watching CNBC that might understand what's going on with the company. Like, you don't always want to only talk to the people that already agree with you because you're not making any headway then. When we squeeze, what's a good statistic to watch for to know we've hit a top? I was thinking shares on loan, but it's only updated once every morning. There is no perfect metric to know shorts covering real time. If anything, you're actually 2 days delayed to get that information because of the T2 settlement. There is no metric. So that is kind of a little bit more of an art than a science of, okay, you're reading the price action, you're kind of understanding the volume traded, you're kind of seeing how many shares are already on loan, but there is no perfect metric, unfortunately, because we live in a world of T2 settlement. The more AA talks, the more I buy. What a bunch of nasty ass questions. I usually don't believe anything a CEO says, but man, Adam Aaron really has a feeling I believe in Harvey Dent. Diamond hands, Aaron knocks out Cracky Kramer in the first round. If Kramer showed up, AMC would throw popcorn at him. AMC people would throw popcorn. Let's go, Adam Aaron, not backing down to these reporters. I wish you had been there with me. Kramer, that's a theater. That's the point of the theater. They're doing their best to sandbag him. I mean, it was whiplash all over. It was so confusing, that interview. I mean, very much. He was like, oh, you've done such a great time. And then the other, like, a great job keeping AMC alive and doing well with it. And then the next guy's like, well, don't you think it's like fundamentally overvalued? Are you serious? He just asked the CEO, not Kramer, the other guy, asked the CEO of a company if he thinks his company is fundamentally overvalued. Like, folks, I have heard some dumb questions in my life, and that has to be one of the dumbest questions. Imagine that. You go to a company that's a Russell 2000 company. It's a household name. It has a track record of over 100 years. And imagine the gall of asking that company, hey, the CEO of that company, hey, we think the company's overvalued. Like, don't you too? Like, don't you think that's a bit crazy? Like, you show movies. Do you really think you're worth $19 billion? He called out $19 billion as if he was possibly going to get Adam Aaron to agree to that. Be like, yeah, no, we're not worth $19 billion. What a stupid question. Like, I get it. He might have a a proven track record in talking about stocks and being on TV. And I get it. I'm on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for about a year and a half. Maybe I just don't know, but that strikes me as one of the most idiotic questions you could possibly ask the CEO of a company. Hey man, isn't it overvalued? You should agree with me, right? Like, come on. Time to start Old Brother Coin. All AMC Ape shareholders get out and support movies AMC next quarter. Adam Aaron needs to try to strike similar theatrical window deal with Disney. 145 August 20 calls for AMC, 50K open interest. That interview was in such poor taste. I applaud. They all ask about his kids profiting, not their business. That guy Kramer is an idiot. When he went to the Rona to create FUD at the end, shake my head. Yeah, that was another weird thing. He was trying to like talk about Delta. He's like, I don't even want to take the risk. Like, I'm not going to go out because like it's insane. It was extremely disrespectful. They are unethical. Adam Aaron schooled them as they chuckled like school children. Bad look for them. Great for AMC. Jim Cramer is having a difficult time eating crow. He'll be eating more in weeks, months, and years to come. Based on yesterday's numbers, don't you think we've made it a fundamental play? This is strong. No. It's still not a fundamental play. The numbers we heard, this is not a fundamental play by any means right now. And I'm saying right now because it obviously can become it, but the numbers we heard comparable to other companies valued at this value, it's just different. This, in my mind, maybe in your mind, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe to you it is a fundamental play, and maybe you're right. But to me it isn't. I'm still in this for a short squeeze play. When they referred to the situation as a lottery ticket, it tells you everything you need to know about how much little respect they have for us and Adam. I just checked Ortex. The only thing I found was dried up was Rich Greenfield's career. CNBC is meme news. Have a good day. Shout out. We are moving the cheese of MSM. They are financial mainstream media. They are threatened by us, this movement at this moment in time. It's very subject to change. People have kitchens, but they still go out to eat. Adam Aaron made the chef happier than Mark Kohrs in a tulip field. Oh, brother, let's eat apes. Yeah, I mean, that is very much true. People have kitchens, and yet they still go out to eat. And I don't hear them bashing on the restaurant industry. Hey, I just have this new thing. I have this new thing called an oven. I have a new thing called a grill. Like, why would I ever buy a restaurant anymore? Like, come on. Silverback only went on CNBC to flex. Isn't that the first time on Kramer since ambush him? Adam Aaron came back fighting, did us proud. Yeah, I mean, I think they just ran with their normal rhetoric. I don't know if it was necessarily an ambush, but they're just so insanely obsessed with the fact that you can't trade on something outside of fundamentals. That's the difference. You have to understand, for many, many decades now, Wall Street has run on the concept of you could only be in something that you fundamentally agree with. And right now, there are millions of people who are like, oh, okay, like it's cool to learn about fundamentals, but I'm in this for a different type of a play. And both are equally valid. That's the point of having a free market, is people buy what they want, people sell what they want. It's a free market. If I want to buy AMC exclusively because I like its ticker symbol, I like the ticker symbol AMC. Am I saying it's the best thesis to get in a company? No, it's not. But it's also a thesis, and like maybe people who are really good at picking ticker symbols that they like can make a lot of money. The point is, whether fundamentally accurate and agreed upon or not, people can invest their money where they want to invest. I don't need some dipshit on mainstream media to say that they might disagree with me, but to tell me that that's wrong and that's not how the stock market is supposed to work, that's stupid. It's the free market. I don't see anyone going into a casino and every time before the roulette wheel being like, hang on, do you know the odds of this play? That might not be a fundamentally sound bet. That's just not how it works. Folks, we live in a nation and a stock market that is a free market. That is how it's pitched. So anyone can get in any stock for literally any reason. If you just wake up and you're like, I want to buy every stock that starts with a Z, okay, that's your own thesis. That's fine. That there's the point that they're saying like we're ruining it and this is somehow against the rules. No, that's stupid. It's a free market. You do what you want. Why are there no options for the 80s this Friday but 145s? Simon, because next week are the monthlies. This week is not. So the monthlies are usually a little bit more built out. I'm concerned that Robinhood is taking over Say Technology the day after our earnings call. What are your thoughts that maybe Calm Ape community, that Robinhood is taking over Say Tech? I don't know anything about that. And it doesn't matter if it's after. I mean, those are all verified, valid shares. I don't know quite what you mean by Say Technologies taking it over. Do you think Jim Cramer would have told the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, he would rather watch hockey and he should come to his house? Like, it was so silly. Do you think Adam will sell shares in the winter due to his age? Yeah, so please. So he is filing a 10b5-1. I want everyone to know what this is. Here we go. So Adam Aaron was talking about how he is setting up a 10b5-1 because I think he's 67. So this is what it is. 10b5-1 allows company insiders to set up a predetermined plan to sell company stocks in accordance with insider trading laws. The price, amount, and sale dates must be specified in advance and determined by a formula or metrics. Both seller and the broker making the sales must not have access to any material non-public information. So here's what's going on with Adam Aaron when he's talking about the 10b5-1. I can already see a bunch of Adam Aaron haters saying, look at, he's selling, he's getting out of the company, he's going to get at the high. I just read it to you. The 10b5-1, the price, the date, and the amount of shares and the date, all of that is decided beforehand and quite a bit beforehand. So basically what's going to happen is he'll get a 10b5-1, someone's going to set it up, and we'll know in advance. He'll say, okay, X amount of months down the road, on this exact date, I will be selling stock and a certain amount of stock. They don't do it in real time of like, oh, it's running, I want to sell today. It is predetermined. All aspects of the trade are predetermined way in advance, and then it's executed on whatever the date setup is. I mean, folks, he is 67. In his own statements, he will keep the amount of shares equivalent to 8 years of his salary. At a certain point, he's being financially prudent. But my point is, it's set super far in advance, and then the trade happens way later at whatever that current trade price is, just so everyone knows what the 10b5-1 is actually all about. Those clans at CNBC are a joke. I bought more out of frustration. Let's go. Support from Long Island. Shout out. Tommy's Touch. Robinhood to acquire Say Technologies. Can't make this crap up. That is pretty funny. Shout out to Gary. So this is the second thing I'm reading about it, but it looks like Robinhood is buying Say Technologies. Remember, if it's announced today, that means they had nothing to do with it for our vote. It's a future-looking deal. It's not like they're going back historically and changing things that already came out. This dumb money is going to make me stupid rich. People saying streaming will kill theaters. That is dumb. That's like saying just because you can listen to music on Spotify doesn't mean people will stop going to concerts. Yeah, or the restaurant and the kitchen. It just doesn't make sense. It's a very weak logical argument. Seeing Cramer frustrated means I'm doing something right. Diamond hands. Adam Aaron should have asked, how do you feel about Robinhood's value? Can you explain surf chart? Past week has summary direction off 590-ish, but it's setting higher lows, bullish or bearish. All right, surf. Connor, I will write that down with the other ones. Moonshots. Finding it all a little sus that Robinhood has acquired technologies for 140. I don't see how that really impacts anything going on right now. Maybe they're trying to stop future things from going on, but the vote is already happened before the acquisition. It's not going to impact, folks, time is linear as far as we know. They're not going to go back in time and completely whatever time stone us and do some crazy stuff like they did in the Avengers. We already have the vote. The vote's in. That happened all way before the Robinhood acquisition. So maybe we don't use it going forward. But as for the vote, and the vote ended on Sunday, that's when they stopped collecting it. It has no impact on that vote. What do you think about Robinhood buying Say Technologies? It just probably means that I will not use Say Technologies or the votes moving forward. That's probably what it means for me. They were trying hard to get him to say something negative about the stock. Shares overvalued. You're going to sell more stock. COVID risk. He crushed it. Yeah. Morning Apes, you make a girl feel like Jane Goodall. Shout out Kinky Kong. Even on a fundamental value, what movie studio wants streaming over theaters and streaming? Charge $13 per person for 4 weeks, then sends it to streaming, or just send it to streaming? What makes more money? And I think that's what some of the numbers that Warner Brothers has been crunching in the background, because they did a 6-month trial and now they agreed to this new deal with AMC. So obviously for the production studios, there must be more movie in theatrical releases. But we are investing based on their bad fundamentals. That's investing based on fundamentals. I guess in a weird, I see what you're saying in a roundabout way. It's a shame for legal reasons that Adam Aaron can't speak to the real truth of criminality in the markets against AMC, but we know the truth. Kramer is neutered and can't diamond ball like Ken Muffin. What was Adam Aaron's response when the reporter asked him if the company is overvalued? I missed the Q&A session at the end of the call. No. This just happened, Michael. If you want to hear his response, you could rewind this particular video. Basically, his comment is his goal is to make the company the best company it ever could be within his capability. And I think beyond that, it was more of like, he's like, I don't control the market. The market is going to perceive the company to have whatever value the market perceives to have based on the laws of supply and demand. He's not the one who controls the market. His goal is to make AMC as good of a movie theater as it could possibly be. And the market is going to put a value on that is outside of his hands. And as of this very, very moment, the market is saying that AMC is worth $18.5 billion. That is what the laws of supply and demand are saying for this particular movie theater. It's honestly that simple. He doesn't control the market, and fundamentals are not like, it's just, the entire stock market is based on human perception. It's not like its stock has to be trading at a level because of its earnings per share or its debt or its future guidance. No. All the stock market is, the futures market, the cryptos market, all of that. It's actually not based on anything besides human perception and human interpretation of what a company is or isn't doing. Some people trade on fundamentals, other people trade on technicals, other people trade on the chance of a short squeeze. They're all valid, and that's the only thing that's really gonna move a stock is supply and demand based on human. I can't just say humans because obviously there's high frequency traders. So between the humans and the robots of the world, that's what it's trading on. But it's not like backstopped by anything, and there's not a ceiling because of a certain value or anything like that. It's all, what do we agree on? It's all price equilibrium. It's honestly, that's it at its core. Good morning, apes. And Matt and Ape, shout out Benny. I think the issue with Robinhood Say is now that they have the personal info along with our share count available at their disposal. Not saying nefarious, just a concern. You would have to look into the deal. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of that is non-public information of that. But if they have that, you could always, I guess, delete your account. I mean, for me, after this stream, there's a good chance I go in and delete my account now because I don't want them. But even with that, before this, I already previously had a Robinhood account, so they already had my information. If you're worried about Robinhood having your information and you already had a Robinhood account, it's kind of a moot point. Earlier this year, I had a Robinhood account, so like getting my information, I mean, they had it, so I don't know. it's a moot point, so I don't know necessarily what's going on there. And Robinhood as a brokerage, them knowing the share count and all that, I mean, we know it. It was public, like that in terms of who voted and all that stuff and the share count. Like the data, that was public. So you don't even, like Robinhood executives or their team literally could have logged onto the website and saw what we saw. So like I said, after this, very, very good chance I go and delete my Say Technologies account. I'm finding out about the acquisition live with all of you guys. I'm deleting mine, and it's going to be that. I mean, at a certain point, when there's water under the bridge, like what can we do about it? We can't go back in time. I mean, it is crazy. The fact that this narrative, the day after the earnings call, when so much of us were watching Say Technologies, that's crazy, crazy timing. That's insane timing. When something has that crazy of timing, I don't think it's a coincidence. I'll have to think about it because, like I said, I'm hearing about this live with all of you right now, this second. I'll have to think about it, and let me dive into some of the information about the acquisition and what is or isn't happening, because in all reality, I just don't have that much info in front of me right now. I still can't trade Hood on Trade Republic, similar broker to Hood in Germany. They restricted buying GME back then. Much love. Jim Cramer exemplifies why the world needs a Jon Stewart, who needs to come out of retirement to put the smackdown on Cramer again. Matt, I'm in MVST, and it's been running. They're a battery play and plan on opening in Tennessee. Thoughts? So I could write this down, and we could check it out. I know we looked at it yesterday. If you already have a position, it was trending nicely. But I don't know if it was at the level where I would personally want to hop in right now. I don't want to be late to the party. Taking the day off to go see Suicide Squad with the awesome movie theater popcorn. My conviction in the trade is stronger than Jimmy's shilling. Love all the apes, mods, and appreciate everything you do on the daily, Matt. Shout out Tabasco Dave. Do you guys want me to clip the Adam Aaron interview and put it on the Matt Kohrs Clips channel? The one that he just did. Actually, how does this sound? He's going to do an interview. He did an interview on Squawk Box with Jim Cramer, and then he's doing another one on Making Money with Charles Payne. Do you want me to clip both of those interviews and put them on that backup channel? Just so you guys can reference it? Matt, did Adam Aaron say there's no more shares left? He's talking about convertible bonds. This no more shares thing that literally related to convertible. Oh, man, I'm already having flashbacks because people are going to take this and completely misinterpret it. The no more shares. Remember, all shares are already owned. That's how shares work. You're not just buying shares from the ether. For you to buy a share, you're buying it off a willing seller. You're a willing buyer. They're a willing seller. This no shares left thing referred back to shares authorized, which is something that they can then use for convertible bonds. So look a little bit into convertible bonds, shares being authorized. He's talking about there's no more shares that they can dilute the stock with right now, which we've known that for a while. Thoughts on Scarlett Johansson suing Disney? Could this impact AMC limit streaming? If anything, it would benefit AMC. So I know a little bit about the case. She said that it was in violation to her, her contract. And then they're saying it wasn't. But I know if it goes in her favor, it would be a benefit to theatrical releases. Couldn't it be possible that Hood bought it to try to control a future investigation or current investigation into the shares literally not adding up? I would say future, but not current. I do find it suspect. I want to make it very clear. Robinhood buying Say Technologies, that does not sound good to me. Like I said, I'm finding out about it right now. I want to look a little bit more into the details of the situation of what's going on. I don't think it's good. I just don't know necessarily the degree to how bad it is, but I am not a fan of them owning this company, especially when it was just found out that we could potentially get an interesting take on really the share count. And do I think Robinhood as a company is trying to stop a share count? No. I think their connection to Wall Street, specifically Citadel, is my concern. Robinhood as a brokerage, it really doesn't matter to them how many shares of AMC there are. It does matter to market makers such as Citadel. We know Citadel's connected to Robinhood, and now we know Robinhood's connected to Say Technologies. So I think we have to put on our tinfoil hat for it to really get into like where my concern would be. But it's more of, do I care about Robinhood having the information? No, not really. Do I care about Robinhood's friends having the information, such as Citadel Securities, the market maker? Yeah, I care a lot about that particular one. And I get it. I get that this is a more of like the tinfoil hat type stuff, but I'm not a fan of that. So it's simple. I'm just going to go delete my account. It's literally that simple. For real, let's get back to 70. Let's go. I mean, we need a lot of demand. A lot of demand is needed. Obviously, holding your shares is way better than selling, but understand what moves a stock. It's the current buyers and the current sellers, not the previous buyers, not the previous sellers. Holding is obviously better than selling, but buying is what moves a stock. Selling is what moves a stock. It's the active involvement in the stock that's going to move it. Robinhood has AMC market cap over 30 billion. Yeah, we've heard about that. They like even said that they have a tech issue of like the outstanding shares. Right now, I'm telling you that not Robinhood, their market cap as in AMC's market cap is 18.4 billion. The $30 billion mark is just wrong. Isn't it factual squeeze plays are supported by fundamentals of hedgies running a company into bankruptcy? They were wrong. AMC has a 100-year record and a strong future fundamentals in our play. Time to create Ask Technology, time to create Ask Tech, sell to Robinhood, buy AMC. It should be illegal for a broker to be paying or acquiring a voting technology because data from the brokers can be used for their own advantage. I don't know what that advantage would necessarily be. I guess they would then get an insight to the other brokerages. That does seem a little bit weird. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't comment on the legality of it. But it does seem weird that would give that brokerage access to the ownership on other brokerages, which that seems like an unfair competitive advantage. Penn SCR deal 17 plus 24 Penn share SCR share sold SCR and bought 0.24 Penn, and I held to Access Capital. Can they trade separately or any risk? I'm not thinking about capital. So eventually SCR, I think, I don't know what that deal is, David. So I need to look into the deal. If they acquired it, it'll all turn into Penn stock. I don't know the deal between Penn and SCR. I'll have to look into that one. Just delete my Say account. Super easy after logging in. It only took 2 clicks. Oh, brother. Yeah, so if you want to delete Say Technology, shout out to Ron. He just did it. Super easy, takes 2 clicks. So also with this saying they are restricting deleting your account, I've emailed them to say, what do you think? Also, what do you think of 4Fast Plumber VA? I'm not quite sure. Naked what? What am I, just my thoughts of naked in general, like just a concept of naked. I'm not sure where we're going, but Fast Plumber, it sounds like other people are deleting their account very easily. It sounds like something else is going on. All right, so right now AMC is trading above 36. I love it. Look how much it's respecting this. It's like literally oscillating on this line, the exact price level we were calling out. So it comes down to this. We're looking for a breakout of 36.50. It's literally that simple. Breakout of 36.50. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. SPY is looking strong. IWM is looking to go green on the day. And then GME is up 2% while AMC is up 6.8%. Gap up a nice gap up on AMC. And then obviously GME is also deleting Say account on Safari doesn't work. Use Chrome. Okay, so thank you for that tip. If you want to delete your Say account, you have to do it, I guess, on Chrome. Safari doesn't work. Oh, people are saying think of Naked as in the company, like NAKD. Not a fan of it. I think it got wrapped up in the short squeeze saga at late January and people saw it, but that one was being shorted because it was like barely surviving as a business. I believe they went from brick and mortar stores to e-commerce to try to save it. I think there's a plentiful amount of exponentially better plays than NAKD in my opinion right now. All right, IWM pushing, S&P 500 pushing. What is Robinhood at, by the way? Do I not have it over here? Ooh, Robinhood getting hit, folks. That's a surprise. Who would have seen that coming? All right. I just wanted to get them up on the other side over here. Who would have thought that Robinhood is down? Below 55, it's at 55 right now. Very good shot. In my technical analysis opinion of it falling to 50. What's it look like on the 30-minute? Maybe 53 as the first stop. 53, 54, below that 50. So there is support between 53 and 54. So I think it has another 90 cents at a minimum in the short term. And then I'll be watching how it reacts to that region between 53, 54. And then below 53, I would be watching 50. This is getting hammered. 57.60 all the way down to 54.66. Someone's dropping the gauntlet on Robinhood. AMC, it's flat, but it's holding at a nice gain. The longer it holds, that means people aren't beating it down. It looks like the early morning profit takers have stopped, and now people are just jockeying for position. The bulls and the apes versus the bears. Let's do a quick Ortex check. All right, they have already borrowed $434,000 against AMC today, a short interest of 15.9%. For GME, they've borrowed $100,000, a short interest of 12.5%. In terms of crypto, Cardano, all the ones on the screen right now, I do own. I think they're all, I don't know, I'm happy to own them all. Bitcoin flat at 45.5 thousand, Ethereum flat at 3,100, Doge flat at 25 cents, and then Cardano ripping, actually really, really ripping. So happy about that. Let's do the 3-minute team, the 3-minute, the 3-minute, the 3-minute, the 3-minute. All right. That's a little bit easier to see what's going on. Good, good, good. The irony of Robinhood acquiring Say to hate on us when they're being shorted right now. Say Tech, log in, click on AMC's call from yesterday, and then scroll down and you'll see delete account. Thank you, Jim. Let me read that one more time for app.say technologies. Log in, click on the AMC's call from yesterday, and then scroll down and you will see delete account. It's that simple. Done. My man Adam said Montclair Dine-In Theater is top profitable theater in the U.S. I'm proud Ape because I'm walking distance from me. Hitman 2, Widow, old. Look at Robinhood. Yeah, getting beaten in right now. When then can we all agree here that AMC is worth $1 billion per share? Dr. Evil laugh, pinky raise. They call us dumb money. We should start them calling them fake money. I like that. Shout out Des API. I guess Adam will be doing a third interview with Trey. Okay, so now if that's public info, I guess I could say that. Yeah, so I was, yeah, there'll be another interview, which will be cool. It's always exciting. Shout out to Edmund. I hope Ed M. Hend becoming an astronaut. I appreciate you joining up. Shout out Ed. Can you do Ortex on ZEV, please? It's blasting. It was like 6 this morning, and it hit 12 a second ago. ZEV. Shout out Night Forge 13 also joining up. I appreciate that. Shout out, shout out. You want the Ortex on ZEV. ZEV. It has a short interest of 15.8% on ZEV. I have no other knowledge of this company. No other knowledge. Right. It looks like Robinhood is coming down to that region of support between 53, 54. Watch it there. AMC is currently flat, kind of a muted reaction, but it's holding. It's holding a gain of 6.5%. GME is also looking good. It's up 2.46%. IWM's looking strong. Robinhood's looking weak. How's my friend Roblox doing? Roblox hanging out at 84.20 right now, down 1.5%. How's SPRT looking? Support.com. It's at 750. What else do we have moving today? Palantir is flat. Google. No other massive movers today. Tesla's at 703. Virgin Galactic fell below 34. Not the biggest fan of that. Nothing big on my watch list quite moving. Honestly, on my watch list, Robinhood's the biggest loser, and then AMC's the biggest winner right now. SPY is ripping. The overall market is looking good. IWM is also looking good. The S&P 500 did hit a new all-time high. All right. Well, while we're doing this, let me go through some of the other requests. DDD, what is this? 3D Systems. Huge volume gap up. There had to be some sort of announcement, but it gapped up and it's continuing to run. It broke resistance. At this point, I'd kind of watch 38.25, and then from there, I'd watch 41.50. I'm not going to chase it, though. If I already had a position, if you somehow got in, but do not just randomly chase a runner. But something had to happen with it. Why are they trading higher today? Announced better than expected second quarter results. So it really, really beat on earnings and people like what was going on, and it's absolutely running. Surf looks weak to me. It's downtrending. It looks like it is still going to continue its downtrend. If I don't know what's going on it, but this is a bad looking chart. It looks very, very weak. It's not really showing signs of bending back around. MVST, man, we saw this. We've been talking about it. It was running, and it looks like it's just over resistance right now. So if you're in it, I'm not going to chase this play, but if you're already in it, look for it to hold 15.25. Look for it to hold that breakout. And then the next stop, I would say, is 16, this high from mid-March of this year. But look for this. It's currently in the region of resistance. Between 15.25 and 16, that's resistance. So you're looking for that breakout from there. I'm not going to chase it. I mean, because not long ago it was trading at $8 and now it's doubled up. So I'm definitely not chasing this. But if you're in it, awesome. Watch how it reacts and fingers crossed for a breakthrough for you. All right. The S&P 500, the overall stock market, did hit a new all-time high today, 443.44. So that is looking strong. And we had one more. We did have a crypto request. What was this one? XCK. And we had a crypto. It's not coming up, though. I don't know why this one's not coming up. For some reason, it's just not on TradingView, I suppose. Not on TradingView. All right, did I miss some more? Have you checked FLGC, Promising Cannabis Corp? I have not. If I were to play, and I am, I like the ETF MJ, and then I like the company Tilray, TLRY. This is what I'm saying. Why does Robinhood want to acquire voting tech? They probably want to access voter data, creating insights and sell them. Maybe. I'm not necessarily sure. It does seem like they're somehow about to acquire information that maybe they shouldn't be having. Mark, how much shorting going on, you think? How much new money do we need to push this to $40, assuming they use odd lots buying to calc MBBO? So assuming they use our odd lots. No. Odd lots are not used to calculate the NBBO. Odd lots and NBBO are two separate things. The NBBO is just the national best bid and offer. That doesn't have odd lots are when you're trading a trading amount that is not divisible by 100. So odd lots is not at all used in the calculation of MBBO. How much shorting is going on today? Well, remember, this is only 60% of transactional volume, the live updates. The top updates that update in the morning, that's 85% of transactional volume. So we're only getting, 3/5 of the picture here. But thus far, it looks like they've borrowed 500,000 shares. But even that, they could have borrowed shares the previous couple days and finally shorted them today. So there's really no way to know until we see kind of the jump in the short interest in the following days. Right now, not much. I mean, it's holding. Folks, AMC is up 5%. Like, we've gapped up and we're holding the gap up. So how much shorting do I see going on? Not much. I see a lot of people jockeying for position, and that's why we're barcoding. It's just going back and forth, really not moving much. So I'm just seeing a bunch of barcoding. So not heavy buying, not heavy selling. It seems like the bulls and the bears are kind of equally strengthed right now, hence why we're not seeing much movement away from this price level of 36. When can we/you start buying options again? I mean, you could do it whenever you want, but I wanted, who knows, maybe even on the upside of this, if we start running past 36.50 on that breakout, I might get in it. I'm just looking for a little bit more of a trend that I can play on. HCMC, that's a sub penny stock on the OTC market. I do not like trading those, and I would advise against that. Can we get a hashtag on Twitter going for today? Earlier today, I just tweeted out a funny one of just jacked for AMC. What do you think of Workhorse? Right now, it's not in the best scenario. So I've been following this ever since the USPS debacle in 2020. I like it. I want it to be successful, but right now it's being heavily shorted. It's getting beaten down. I think it has more downside, potentially down to $8. So if you're looking at it, I think there's more downside, so you could save yourself some money. But I think given enough time, this will be a successful company, but not at this exact moment. But that's maybe my own opinion. Who knows? For all I know, it could gap up tomorrow and run and make a new high. I don't think that's going to happen, but to me, it looks a bit weak and it looks like it has a bit more downside. FSR is moving. FSR, Fisker. It had a gap up, but it's not holding the gap up. That's not the best sign. When you gap up and then it doesn't hold, it looks like it might be coming for a gap fill. I would be hesitant right now. I would pay attention. Maybe it'll base and move upwards from there and want to test 20, 50. That's a possibility. But right now, it's intraday action. It's looking a bit weak. It might be going for that gap fill. Kramer's the guy that massively farts, blames your dog, tells you how much he hates the dog, then changes his own diaper in front of you. Can you tell me what you think about GMG, Graphene Manufacturing Group? They do high-performance battery to potentially displace lithium ion. Got in at 2. GMG, interesting. You got in at 2, so you're playing this gap up. So for you, if I were you, I would be risking 285. As long as that holds, I like it. If it breaks below it, I would lock in my profits. Wait to see how much of this gap it fills, and then if you still like it, you could re-enter in around 265. But I would very much be risking 285 right now to protect my own capital. Have you looked at DPLS? Seems like a good volume and has been a roller coaster. DPLS. I don't like this one. It's a penny stock. It's on the OTC market. That would be a pass from me. But back to you, Sean. Congrats on the GMG trade. I mean, you're up 50%. Citigroup on Fintel is selling puts as of today. Good thing, right? Selling. No. So it's updated today, but remember the effective date is probably from the end of June. It may have been reported today, but the data is valid as of June 30th, I believe. All right, I think we're up to date there. Oh, the one thing what I wanted to point out once again is we're talking about Robinhood and market makers and payment for order flow. Pinned to the top of chat is a link to the public brokerage. You get free stock, you get free trading, and there's no payment for order flow. And what's better than that is not only is there no payment for order flow, but they also don't route your orders to market makers. There are some brokerages out there who don't do payment for order flow, but still most of their orders are getting routed to one of the main market makers, Citadel Securities or Virtu. So the pin to the top of chat, you have to be in the US. The brokerage is public.com. It's public, but that's going to be the URL link is public.com. Free stock up to $70 worth, free trading. It is for US residents. There is no options as of now. It's more of like a social trading platform where you can see what other people are getting into and out of if they want to share that. But check it out. No payment for order flow. Beyond that, no market makers, which is the main thing I personally care about, because that kind of takes it to the whole next level. Not just payment for order flow. You also want to make sure not any market makers. So check, I think what it is here, let me open that myself just to show it to you. Nope. All right. It'll look like this. And it has my picture because this is my account, Matt Kohrs. So if you follow that, you could get it. You get up to $70 in free stock. And you can then pick, there's like some options of what stock you want it to be in. And then from there, you let it rip and you can know that you're doing your stock trading with no payment for order flow. Good morning, Matt. If utilization exceeds 100%, is that a clear sign of synthetics? I feel that if we hit 100% this week in their mission to go below 40, we are getting close to some type of squeeze. So it's actually impossible for utilization to exceed 100%. You're never going to see 101, 102, 103. The max value for utilization is 100%. Can you look at JMIA? Keep up the good work. JMIA. Looks like this is still downtrending. If it breaks below 2050, I would then be watching 1790. But I mean, you're kind of like it's not. Look for it to bend back around. I would kind of want to see it above like 24, 25, and maybe you'll get then a test of 32. But look for it to bend around. It's showing a lot of weakness. I mean, it's coming off of $70 all the way down to 20. So something not the best is going on with it. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, a quick reminder, if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like content related to stocks, options, crypto, basically just Ape Nation stuff. But liking, subscribing, completely free. I would appreciate that. New Keenan Grace video titled Ignoring Buy Orders around 4-minute mark states algo set share price not recognized odd lot purchases. Therefore, we are not just watching higher hedge fund longs and hedge fund shorts action the share price. Yeah, I don't agree with that. It makes no sense that if it's not divisible by 100, then it would not somehow impact the stock price. No stock market professional would agree with that. Yesterday, we looked up the odd lot theory, and it has nothing to do with not impacting the stock price. If anything, I mean, you could Google it. Google odd lot theory. It has something to do with understanding where retail is putting their money. It has literally nothing to do with somehow evading a material impact on price action. I'm going to make this very clear. Do I think that this odd lot concept somehow means no impact on price action? No, I don't believe that. If you're trading one share, 101 shares, anything that is an odd lot is defined as something not divisible by 100. If I buy 50 shares right now, you will see 50 shares on the time and sale come through, and it will have a material impact on the price. It's just, there's no proof. There's no evidence whatsoever. Honestly, I don't even know where the theory started, but no stock market professional is going to think that like, oh, 100 shares will have an impact on the price, but as soon as you go to 101, apparently it doesn't. So it's actually really weird. So you're saying if you bought 100 shares, because that is not an odd lot, it would have a material impact on the price. But if you buy 101, it no longer does then? It doesn't make sense to me. But I've just seen no evidence. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but there's no evidence backing it up. Do we really need to like you to hit the like button? JK, happy Tuesday, Matt and Ape, shout out. So he's not a professional and you are? No, I am not a professional. I make that very, very clear. I'm just saying when researching it, you're not going to find any evidence supporting it. And if you talk to an actual professional, no. Am I a professional? Folks, I'm wearing a duck shirt, but I'm also telling you what I believe to be true. And I'm not just going to arbitrarily agree with something because of confirmation bias. It's just, I'm not here to make you feel better about like some random thing that's out there because you think it somehow supports your position. I don't think there's any validity to this odd lot theory, the same way I didn't think there was any validity to the convertible bond. And you know what happened with all that stuff? People were mad. They're like, you're not an ape, you're a shill. How could you just not agree with us? Give it time, give it a couple days, and someone's going to find something that actively disproves it. And then we move on. Like we've seen this before. So if you want to believe in it, I'm just telling you, I'm not a professional. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a fortune teller. But I'm telling you, just give it a Google search. It's that simple. Do a little bit of research. Be like, hang on, is there anything about this odd lot theory? Because if you look it up, anything that's written about the odd lot theory, it in no way talks about price action. The entire thing will just be about them trying to understand where retail is and trying to bet against retail. We are not, AMC is not red. It's up 3%. Odd lot, no lot, you got one thing, do and hold and buy if you can. So you're not a duck? What's going on, Ruben? Odd lot theories are convertible bonds 2.0. Notice how these series stay for a week and go away. Last time I checked, I like the stock. Yeah, I mean, odd lot being a thing or not being a thing, is it going to change your position? It doesn't help us in our argument with the SEC or FINRA because like they're going to laugh this odd lot thing right out. You know what's something that they might not laugh out is the say technology vote when we're like, hang on, we have some sort of evidence. You can believe in this odd lot thing. You cannot believe in it. Is it going to change your position? Probably not. I don't think anyone was basing it on this odd lot theory. And beyond that, is it something we can use to argue literally with the governing body of it? No, they're going to laugh at this odd lot theory. So for me, it's just, why would we spend energy and time there when it's something we can't prove, it's not really backed, and it's not going to change our positions on AMC or GME or really any stock? If Congress wanted to find out what's going on with AMC stock manipulation, what 6 people would you use to make up the AMC Justice League? Wanted to find out what's going on. So I would use Wes Christian as a lawyer. I would also, I never know how to say her last name, Lisa Braganaka. I don't know how to say her last name, but she's another lawyer that talks about SEC stuff. Then there's another guy who was more so talking about the naked shorting stuff going on with Overstock. I'd put him on there. I would put Dave Lauer on there. And then I think I need one more. Who else would I put on there? Well, I guess you have to put someone from AMC itself. So like Adam Aaron, someone that has insight to the company. So I'd put obviously Adam Aaron on there. And I think that's my list right there. Braganaka. These guys trying to come up with content hurts us. Yeah, it is. Charles Payne, that would be funny. Charles Payne could be like the fun enthusiasm, like the fashionable one in it. $1.2 trillion in U.S. currency, all traceable with serial numbers, and we still can't verify a stock share existence. We need constant audits on these hedges. Remember, it's not on the hedges. I agree with everything, but it's on the market makers and the prime brokers. The hedge funds are not the ones who call up and say, I want a naked short. We have to look at the prime brokers. We have to look at the market makers. Really, because the hedge funds wouldn't be the ones tracking the serialization or anything like that. It would be the brokers, the clearing brokers talking with the DTCC and the other clearing, like, I guess, corps, and then also market makers, because sometimes they do stuff outside of the purview of the DTCC. So really, that's who I would want, like, I guess, more people paying attention to. Can you go over SNDL Ortex data? Yes, let me look it up. Ortex. SNDL. All right, we're loading it. Just so everyone knows, it trades on the NASDAQ. And its short interest is 11.67%. So it's higher than like a quote unquote normal stock, but not the highest we've seen. Dave Lauer already debunked the odd lot thing over the weekend in Twitter DMs. Why are people / Keenan still talking about it? I'm not sure. It's confirmation bias. Like it is. I mean, I didn't even know that Dave Lauer debunked it. I didn't. I just, like, as soon as I read it, like, you can't arbitrarily show the price impact of 100 shares but not 99 or not 101. Like, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, I don't even know who came up with it, but I don't think there's much validity to it. Morning, Matt. I think the odd lot theory is to try to find FUD people out of buying shares in the hopes that small retail will believe it doesn't matter. It does feel like FUD, because if you were to believe it, it would get more people just be like, well, I can't buy 100 shares, so I'm just not going to buy any at all, because why does it matter? It does feel like FUD to me. It really, really does. It feels like it's trying to scare out people who are willing to buy a smaller odd lot size. I don't know. I think it's actually, even now, us discussing it, I feel like it's going to have like a negative impact on the stock. Like it's not true. And then beyond that, I think it could have a negative impact on people who are like, well, hang on, like, I'm not even going to buy then. And no, like, I want there to be more apes. I think that's better for our community. It does feel like FUD. Why do we put so much trust in Dave Lauer? Because he's essentially the Snowden of Citadel. He worked at Citadel, quit it, and then spoke to the government out against him. Dave Lauer, we trust him because he's essentially the Snowden of Citadel, and he's an expert. He is literally a dark pool, high-frequency trading, market-making expert. He has true expertise. Say website doesn't show the Tim B question anymore. Interesting. Right now, AMC at 34.60, so it's still green on the day, but it is getting hit down from the 36 mark. We knew 36 was resistance, folks. We called this out yesterday, but green is still green. GME is at 161.81. SPY took a nasty hit. Was there something that got announced at 10:30? Because something happened here. Look at the SPY. Something weird is dragging it down. Matt is more professional than Kramer, and he is the best runner. Can you look at IDEX, the best runner? Yeah, right. You know, I was telling myself I was going to run yesterday after the earnings call. Oh, I need to share the Apple story. I completely forgot about what happened with Apple after the stream. IDEX, let me go through this very quick. You guys need to know my Apple story. It's so wild. IDX, it looks like it got rejected. It looks like it wants to come back down to the bottom of its range around 230. That's how I would look at it. FUD to me, I'm still buying 1 to 2 shares every time I can. Thoughts on AHPI up 50%? I would not chase it because you should not really be chasing runners like that. But that's all. If you're in it, you killed it. But don't be late to the party. But don't be a potential bag holder. Joey, I agree with you. The more, the better. In specific to naked shorting, I just want everyone to know I am working on setting up another really cool interview of what's referred to as like, it would be an expert in naked shorting and naked shorting litigation. So yeah, like that's something that we could like double check. I agree with you. It's never bad to have redundancies whatsoever. So AHPI, I wouldn't chase it, but it's awesome. If you're in it. Are brokers throwing hedge funds under the bus? No, I wouldn't say that. I think they're trying to make each other money. Apple took a big hit. That's why SPY is dumping. You want to know why Apple took a big hit? Folks, do you want to know why Apple just dropped from 147.71 down to 146? Let me tell you a story of what's going on with Apple. And before I get into this very particular story, I want you to know that I don't know. There's two ways you could look at this story. You could look at this story as in we should buy Apple, or you could look at this story as we should sell Apple. I don't know which way it cuts, but let me tell you what happened. So yesterday, we were streaming the earnings call and it was going haywire. My computer was going haywire. And this happened about a month ago. And I was like, I just need a new computer. My stream shut down. It was absolutely crappy. So I went to an Apple store. I was like, give me your best laptop right now. I need to go back to streaming. And they're like, whoa, man, you came in hot. I was like, I know I came in hot. And you probably already heard my previous Apple like rant. So that's what happened about a month ago, early July. Brand new computer. It had all the bells and whistles. It was the top tier laptop. So I noticed that it started acting a little bit weird a couple days ago. And then during the stream yesterday, it was going really weird. It was dropping internet. It was flashing like whatever. It was doing super, super strange stuff. And obviously it happened during the earnings call. And then like it just completely cut my feed. And I was like, this is insane. Something happened. Either I have a completely faulty thing or I got hacked, but it didn't matter because no matter what, the end result is I need a new computer. And when this happened, I bought the Apple Care plan. So anyway, I'm all hot and bothered. I get in my car and I grab my old laptop, my old Mac that needs a battery. So I was like, you know what? While I get this new computer, I'll also get my old one fixed just for a backup. I'll get a new battery. Everything will be A-okay. So I go there and I walk in and it was like right away, you could tell it was a little bit confrontational because I came in all hot and bothered and they're like, we can't talk to you until you put a mask on. And I was like, oh, okay, sorry. So like right away, I was already kind of like knocked off my game. I grab a mask, I put that on. And I explained what's going on. And I was like, hey, this older computer, I need a battery. I've had it for a while. I don't have Apple Care. I'll pay for a battery. It's just the battery sucks. This new one, I just recently got it. I have Apple Care and it is not working. It's dropping Wi-Fi. I have audio issues. I don't know if it has or hasn't been hacked, but I need a new system. And he's like, well, if you got it within 2 weeks, we could just give you a new computer. I was like, oh, I got it about a month ago. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. And I was like, you can't do that even though I have Apple Care? And he's like, that's not really what Apple Care does. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, can we fix it now? And I'm in Center City, Philly. I was like, well, how does this work? He's like, oh, we'll have to schedule an appointment with a genius. And I was like, okay, sweet. Can we do that now? And he's like, no, the earliest appointment is on Wednesday. And I was like, well, I guess if that's the earliest one, that's the earliest one. Like, it is what it is. And I was like, well, can you tell me how this will go? Because right now, I was like, oh, I have a job. And I didn't like go into the detail that my job is yelling at a camera in the basement. But I was like, I have a job and I need a computer. I can't be without a computer. And I was like, how will it look? Like, what's going on? He's like, well, we don't really do that many repairs here. So there's a good chance we might have to send them both out. Or if it's like maybe a settings issue, we could fix it here, but we might have to send it out. And I was like, yeah, no can do, Tonto. Like, you don't understand. I can't be without a computer. I can't just like go full on like Amish here. Like, I need tech. And he's like, yeah, like I get it, but that's just not how it works. And I was like, well, what do you mean it's not how it works? And he's like, well, it's just not how we have it set up. And I was like, he's like, for example, like when you're just buying something, like this is the deal, like we have to be fast. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he said something else that got me like a little pissed off. But I was like, hang on. And he was just talking about like getting things that are expensive fixed. I was like, I just spent like $3,000 on this computer. And you're telling me that not only can't you fix it today, you're going to have someone look at it in 2 days. And even if they look at it, they might have to send it away for multiple weeks for me to get it back, even though I just gave you thousands of dollars a month ago. He's like, yeah, like that's just how it works. I was like, no, that is not how it works. If I go to a dealership and I buy a car and a month later, that car is hacked by someone who doesn't want me talking about AMC, and they just like say I buy a Tesla and like I have my charts up and they ruin it and I can't live stream from my Tesla, I would go to the Tesla dealership and I'd be like, you're fixing this now. I just gave you thousands of dollars. He's like, well, I get it. And I was like, so anyway, what is this AppleCare thing? I gave you hundreds of dollars for AppleCare. What does it do if you can't just give me a computer? Take this computer. You're telling me that it's fine and it's not a big deal. So you should be willing to take it, especially because I bought this insurance plan. And he's like, well, it's just not like exactly how it works. And he was like going on about like their process and how it works. And then it was coming back to this argument about the car of how if you spend thousands of dollars, you should be able to get it fixed right away. But I get it. Some people are like scheduled, blah, blah, blah. Blew my mind because it's center Philly and you'd think that they have like more people working and it's a bit more reasonable. But anyway, so fast forward to like closer to the end of this conversation. And I was like, it was coming back to this work argument. I was like, I can't be without a computer. I either need the battery of my old computer to be fixed right away, or I need my entire new computer to actually work. Like I need one of those things to happen, like ASAP. And then he's like, well, honestly, I don't know if we could do that for you. That's just not how we work. And I was like, that's not how this $2.5 trillion company works. Even though I gave you insurance money, you somehow can't fix that. I was like, okay, so what does AppleCare actually cover? Like, how does it work? Well, actually, no. Hang on. Let me rewind a second. I was like, well, to my understanding, it sounds like AppleCare sucks. I want to get rid of it. Can you, like, I get that I already used a month of it, but for the remaining amount of years that I bought AppleCare for, can you cancel it? And they said, no, you have to cancel it online. I was like, yeah, but I bought it here. Like, you're an Apple store. Why can't I delete the thing that I bought here? Like, refund me the leftover amount. He's like, no, you got to go online. I was like, okay, well, if I can't do that, then can you explain what AppleCare does for me? He's like, yeah, it covers any software or hardware issues. And if it's not, like, we'll cover it. Like, if like you accidentally like spill water on it, we'll give you a new computer. And I was like, this is the point where I was like, whoa. I am here talking about getting a new computer that I want to work. And you just told me that if I spilled water on it and it broke, you would give me a new computer. And so I was like, so hang on a second. You're telling me I have to wait till talk to this Apple genius on Wednesday, and then from there, it might take a couple weeks for it to actually get fixed. But on the other alternative, I could stop this conversation right now, go outside to the sidewalk, smash my computer on the sidewalk, go, oopsie daisies, at least I bought AppleCare, come back in here, give you like a shred of this crumpled computer and be like, hey, I guess I need a new one. Good thing I bought AppleCare. Would that get me a new computer right away? The look in this dude's face, if he could legally murder someone, he would have murdered someone. And that someone would have been this duck boy right here. He looked me dead in the eyes and there was that awkward pause. It was like probably 10 seconds, but it felt like a couple hours. He was fuming. Like if steam could physically come out of eyes, it would have been coming out of his eyes. And after this really awkward pause, as we're right there, like close to each other, like just the tensions were high. We had masks on, so we were allowed to be like right in each other's face. After this pause, he goes, look, buddy, I'm not here to play games. And I like lose my shit. Because like whenever you get a look, buddy, you know it's going to go downhill from there. And then, so I I wanted to hit him back with a similar pause, but I didn't have it in me for like comedic purposes. I just wanted to get right into like my own like follow through on this situation. So like I wanted to go for the same level pause. I just didn't have it in me. So he hit me with a look, buddy, never going to go well. And he said, we're not here to play games. And I said, look, buddy. I hit him back. Like, you know, he hit me with a 1-2. I hit him with a 1-2. Oops, I get it. I'm immature. So I hit him with a look, buddy. And my, hey, look, buddy, was, I need a computer working. I said, look, buddy, I need a computer working ASAP. And then it got a little bit more weird because someone else walked over and I was like, I guess I'll see you on Wednesday. And as I was saying, I need a computer working. I guess the best thing I can do is see you on Wednesday. Then some other guy was walking up at that time and he's like, do you need me anymore? And then the guy's like, no, we're good. And like, it was really weird because I don't know exactly if it was happening, but you saw what I was wearing yesterday. I think like a tulip shirt and I was in flip flops. And this guy who is physically larger than me called over, I think, another guy who is physically larger than me. And it all started just because I asked the question of like, how does Apple Care work? Like, if I'm covered, can I just go smash it on the sidewalk and get a new computer? And I didn't know because I don't know how Apple Care works. I was just wondering if that is how it works. And then I got hit with a look, buddy. And this all comes down to, I think this is why Apple's dropping, because people are like, hang on, you don't just look buddy your customers. But on the flip side, this brings up the question of, obviously, that's not a good way to treat people because that sucks, especially if you're selling like kind of a crappy product, like that sucks. So that makes maybe you want to be bearish. But on the other side, think about how much money they are getting from people who are just not following through. They're like, you know what? This Apple Care thing is stupid. You have my money and I'm frustrated and I leave. So even though it sounds crappy, I can't imagine the amount of money that they are pulling in for something they don't have to do at all. So really, not only was I look buddied, which is like emotionally distressing, but on top of that, now I don't know with Apple. I don't know if I should be bullish or bearish. I think it sucks how they treat people, which makes me bearish, but I can't even imagine how much money they're pulling in, which makes me kind of want to be bullish on it. Who knows? But the bottom line is I need to play Apple well enough to pay off my own Apple Care. Yeah. So that's my second Apple story. And it's always an interesting time whenever I go to this Apple store. All right, what else? You're supposed to ask the mafia who they're protecting you from. Matt, to the Apple employee, you can't drop everything because I walked in. Matt, you should have done your DD. You know how this stuff works. No, I get that they couldn't fit me in. I get that. I was blown away when they said it might take weeks for you to get your computer back. That's what blew my mind. The fact that I don't have my meeting with them until tomorrow with the genius, that's fine. That's like, whatever. Like, you schedule an appointment with the doctor, like blah, blah, blah. Other people might have more mess up machines than I do. That's fine. What blew my mind when they're like, oh, it might take weeks to get back. And I was like, what do you mean? We can't go back to like circa 1990s. Like, that's insane. He clearly didn't understand that you have potential future owner of Texas Roadhouse. Do you want me to build you a PC, bro? You got to go away from Apple for streaming. I'm in Delaware. So I ordered a PC, but it's just on back order right now because GPUs are so hard to track down. I think I should be getting it by the end of August. So really, I'm just looking for something to get me through like the next 2-3 weeks of my life before my PC shows up. Matt, for the love of everything, holy, please go to, what is this? And buy a real computer for stream. They make the quality customer PCs and laptop plus customer service is amazing. Love your streams. Buddy, forehead kisses. Oh, man. Yeah, I ordered a PC, a very good PC. I'm just waiting for it to show up. It has all the bells and whistles. Can you do technicals on AMC? Yep. look at this, folks. We basically did a gap fill. We were a gap fill off by 3 cents. Yesterday, we closed at 33.80. I've been here and I've been preaching about gap fills and the importance of them. This is what we're looking at. We have a gap fill. We were within 3 cents. I would have preferred that it perfectly hit 33.80 and then bounce and rip from there. But we are just in a gap fill scenario right now. But also on top of that, the market is getting hit. Apple is getting hit because hey buddy, too many people. S&P 500 ran, but now it fell off. IWM. Let me see how everything's looking on an intraday basis. IWM is holding, but AMC gapped up, and there's such a statistical advantage at some point or another to do a gap fill. And it looks like AMC just is choosing to do it on day one. Apple carries an extended warranty, which if it has defects, they will fix it. Stores only fix iPhones, not watches or laptops. Well, the more you know. Now the entire community knows, but not fun. If it's the Apple store on Walnut, they're the worst. The store went full retail. Matt, I just flew into Philly this morning, here for a week with my friends. What do I need to see other than the shorts pants? Do I need to see other than in Philly? I mean, there's some pretty good restaurants. You got to check out the Rocky statue, especially if you're fighting along for AMC. I don't know. Philly is a really fun scene. I feel like it's almost understated how much fun I have at the bars and the restaurants. A surprisingly good food scene. I don't know if you're a foodie or not. I'm really not, but I've had some really good meals at like Steven Starr restaurants. He has like various different restaurants and they're all awesome. Really fun bars, but the weather is nice. Smooth Brain Ape here. Can you explain how today's inflows at 265 million, outflows 253 million, yet price has dropped? Yeah, because inflow is when you hit the ask and outflow is when you hit the bid. So it's just like, is the buyer traversing the spread to hit the ask, or is the seller traversing the spread to hit the bid? But remember, with every buyer, there's a seller. With every seller, there's a buyer. Inflow doesn't mean that there's more buying, and outflow doesn't mean that there's more selling. There's always the same amount of buying as there is selling. Always, always, always. You're buying from someone and you're selling into someone. There's always, always, always the same amount of buyers as there are sellers. And that's why we see the volume. That's why you see volume, because that's just how many shares are exchanged between a willing buyer and a willing seller. Usually the follow-up question to that is like, hang on, if every buyer has a seller and every seller has a buyer, how does the price change? And the difference is supply and demand. It's like, well, if there's more people trying to buy, that's a higher demand, and then the price goes up, the equilibrium moves up. And if there's more people trying to sell than there are trying to buy, the equilibrium gets pushed down, i.e. the price gets pushed down. So it's all just supply and demand. How aggressive are the buyers? How aggressive are the sellers? I've never had this problem with Microsoft or Google. Treasuries on the rise, SPY falling. Interesting. Should have hit with why don't you calm down? Because it always works. Hey, buddy, an apple is a fruit, not a laptop. My Mac was stolen. The people call Apple. I asked if I could get their info to give the police. They said no, they don't give out their customers' info. That is so bad. Look, buddy, after awkward stare down, can you put some darn magnets on AMC or I'll call security? I will for the afternoon stream. We're about to wrap up the morning stream. Should have said, hey, buddy, maybe you don't know what you're doing. Oh, but anyway, so if there happens to be an Apple employee, an Apple genius, or an ex-Apple employee, or maybe someone who's done it, I never got the answer to my question of this Apple Care. If I were to spill water on my machine, if I were to drop it and it breaks, do I get a new computer? He never answered me. He just hit me with a, hey, buddy. I still do not know the end result of what AppleCare does or doesn't do for me. So if you want to DM me, because maybe you're not allowed to say something publicly, if you want to DM me, I want to know what AppleCare actually covers and why I bought it. Someone said, read your contract. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with that one. Me read the contract? Come on, guys. Next you want me to do is read the terms of service and all the new Apple updates. Come on. We all know it's not going to happen. You didn't pull Do You Know Who I Am works every time. Dude, not many people know who I am. It's not going to work. Someone has ask Riley. Look, buddy, Tiblio play NUE having a nice day. Shout out to Tiblio. Shout out to NUE. Look, buddy, NUE is crushing it. Congrats. Look, buddy, calm down. You don't know what you're saying. If apes and profits sell and buy again, won't that drive the price up? Trying to brainstorm ideas. No, because you would be net neutral. If you buy and sell the same amount, there's no net impact. I'm not your buddy, pal. Should have just put water on it, like right in front of him. Like I just dumped water. I got so angry at my Apple that I took it out of the gun range and sent it to hell with my terminal case of lead poisoning. Jesus. Marcus. Matt, I don't know if you addressed it. Hood is acquiring Say Technologies. Should they request to Say Tech to delete our data since we used it to vote? Should we request? I mean, we could request it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to follow through on it. I know a lot of people, and it's pretty easy. You could just delete your Say Technologies account. Matt, spill a gallon of milk on your PC, wait a few hours and take it in. Then when they ship it out, they will be forced to replace it, not repair it. PC. Look, buddy, calm down. All right. Overall, folks, that's what I have for you for the morning stream. I will be back on at 2 p.m. Eastern, just a midday break. As always, not really much going on midday. Oh, what is this? Odd lot theory has been around since early Feb. It's the theory that the free brokers route low tracks less than 100 to a market maker to hold till the amount of shares equals 100. But you're still going to get the execution within, it's going to be executed within like 10 seconds. If you're doing a market buy on an odd lot, it's going to go through borderline instantaneously. I'm just not, the theory doesn't really make much sense to me. Overall, that's what I have for you for today's morning stream. I will be back on at 2 p.m. Eastern, so I could tweet those links out or whatever so you can find it. But as always, remember, from me and Cherry,